Analyzing Diversity Day from The Office by Kaylee, Jessica, Katrina, Megan, Haley, and Brandon.
For a little bit of background for our artifact, we used The Office, and it was a clip from the episode Diversity Day. It was actually the second episode of the series that ever aired, so it was very early on. The Office is often described as a mockumentary of the environment in the American workplace. This particular episode follows Michael Scott's very unsuccessful attempt at addressing issues of diversity by playing a game where each worker is assigned a race or ethnicity, and everyone must guess what race they have been passed off of their coworkers' interactions with them. Instead of celebrating diversity in a positive way, Michael Scott ends up rehashing and reinforcing many negative and highly offensive stereotypes, subsequently causing the rest of the office workers to feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Here, I want you to take a card, put it on your forehead. Don't look at the card. I want you to take the card and I want you to put it on your forehead. And take a card, any card. And I want you to treat other people like the race that is on their forehead, okay? So everybody has a different race. Nobody knows what their race is. So I want you to really go for it. Because this is real. You know, this isn't just an exercise. This is real life. And I have a dream that you will really let the sparks fly. Get her done. There's this great Chris Rock bit about how streets named after Martin Luther King tend to be more violent. I'm not going to do it, but it's... Oh, this is a good one.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Push it.
Great.
Push it.
I admire your culture success in America.
Thank you.
Good. Bum, 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 bum. Come on. Olympics of suffering right here. Slavery versus the Holocaust. Come on.
Who am I supposed to
It's
be?
going to percolate. No. Well, that was inadvertent. We didn't actually plan that. Lots of cultures eat rice. Doesn't help me. Shalom. I'd like to apply for a loan.
That's nice, Dwight.
Okay, do me. Something stereotypical so I can get it really quick.
Okay, I like your food.
Outback Steakhouse. I'm Australian, mate. Pam.
No.
Pam, come on. I like your food. No, come on. Stir the pot. Stir the melting pot, Pam. Let's do it. Let's get ugly. Let's get real.
Okay. If I have to do this, based on stereotypes that are totally untrue, that I do not agree with, you would maybe not be a very good driver.
Oh, man, am I a woman?
Hey,
Hey,
you want to go to the beach?
sure.
You want to get high?
No?
I think you do, Mon.
Stop.
Okay, all right, no. All right, that's good. You need to push it. You know, you could go a little bit further. All right. Okay. Kelly, how are you?
I had the longest meeting.
Oh, welcome to my convenience store. Would you like some googie googie? Oh, I have some very delicious googie googie, only 99 cents plus tax. Try my googie googie. Try my googie googie. Try my googie googie. Try my... All right. Yes. That was great. She gets it. Now she knows what it's like to be a minority.
Diversity Day draws on typical understandings of office culture as well as American culture as a whole. The show does this in order to make light of the absurdity and inaccuracy of racial stereotypes. The episode achieves this by utilizing satirical humor. The Oxford Dictionary defines satire as the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and the topical issues. The television series The Office is known for its satirical humor and the episode Diversity Day exemplifies media's ability to highlight important social issues in such a way that requires a mutual understanding between the producers and audience members about what the message actually means.
Our first class reference that we used was Stuart Hall and his article, Encoding and Decoding in the Television Discourse. In this article, he talks about satire. Satire requires the audience to correctly decipher the messages the producers intended, or else that intended meaning is lost and viewers will misunderstand it entirely. While satire catches the attention of viewers and appeals to their emotions through the use of humor, it also risks being misunderstood if the messages are not deciphered similar to how the producers intended them to be. Hall speaks to this in his article Encoding and Decoding when he writes, "The degrees of symmetry, that is, the degree of understanding and misunderstanding in the communicative exchange, depend both on the degrees of symmetry/asymmetry between the position of the encoder, being the producer, and that of the decoder, being the receiver. In other words, messages are communicated through media, but there are varying degrees of synchrony between those who produce the media and those who decipher the message. Because of this, there is a likely possibility that the encoded meaning and decoded meaning could be different. This depends, as Stuart Hall explained, on the degree of similarity between the positions of the encoder and that of the decoder." In his article, Stuart emphasizes the importance of the social context that media is situated within, which impacts the ability for a message to be decoded in a way that closely aligns with what the encoded meaning was. When applying Stuart's concepts to satire, specifically Diversity Day from The Office, the audience must have some understanding of the racial stereotypes that exist in American society. For example, Dwight's clue to Pam, whose card said Jewish, was, "Shalom, I'd like to apply for a loan." Dwight's comment is referencing the commonly held stereotype that Jews are greedy. Thus, they have an abundance of money or wealth. If an individual did not have the knowledge of this cultural stereotype, their process of decoding would not align with the producer's encoded message, due to the fact that the social context directly impacts the message sent through the media. The encoder assumes the majority of the audience will understand the reference to the stereotype without having to explicitly say it.
This knowledge of context and recognition of stereotypes is necessary when applied to the individual characters. In The Office, Michael Scott represents more than just an egotistical boss who is disliked by his employees. Michael Scott is a stand-in for the white man in power. His character is in many ways representative of the hypocrisy of American business environments because it is a system that privileges white men. While Michael believes he is promoting an inclusive work environment through his stereotypes card game that he forces his employees to play, he actually reinforces existing stereotypes. Several times throughout the video clip, Michael prompts the employees to make offensive racial comments. He tells Pam to stir the melting pot, let's get ugly. Michael encourages the office workers to adopt stereotypical assumptions in a ridiculous attempt to embrace diversity. Ironically enough, there is not a card that has white written on it. Therefore, it is apparent that Michael believes that to be white is to be normal, and to be anything else is to be an other.
Our second class reference was from Shilpa Dave in her article Apu's Brown Voice, The Simpsons in Indian American Accents. Throughout Michael's activity, the office workers are visibly uncomfortable with what Michael is expecting of them. Michael, on the other hand, simply thinks the employees do not understand how the game is meant to be played. In an effort to show the others what he wants from them, he approaches Kelly, an Indian American, as she enters the room. Michael decides to take on the role of a South Asian American by using what Dave calls the brown voice. These stereotypes have less to do with what Michael says and more to do with how he says it. Although he does make references to stereotypes about South Asian Americans by pretending to be the owner of a convenience store. Dave, in her article Apu's Brown Voice, explains that the brown voice identifies a specific racializing trait among South Asians in Hollywood productions.
During the clip, it quickly becomes apparent that Kelly does not have a noticeable accent whatsoever. Yet, Michael uses the Brown voice to assign her to a specific racial category. Dave elaborates on this phenomenon when she explains its impact. Ultimately, the Brown voice reinforces a static, racialized position for the South Asian Americans. The entire group becomes represented by this one accent. In this specific scene, Michael has appropriated South Asian American culture by performing a cultural accent in an unsuccessful effort to highlight stereotypes of different racial groups. Shilpa makes an important distinction that relates back to the encoding and decoding that we discussed earlier with Stuart Hall. Dave emphasizes the Brown voice is a performance in both senses of the word. It is not only Michael Scott speaking in an accented voice, but the accent must be received and understood as a marking of someone that is Indian American.
In conclusion, the satirical nature of The Office in the particular clip shown highlights the social issues that exist in American office culture and the greater society as a whole, but does so in a humorous and engaging way. The instances of irony and exaggeration shown in Michael Scott's character reveal the absurdity of racial stereotypes. This episode also shows that it is possible when trying to address issues of diversity to inadvertently reinforce the particular stereotypes individuals are trying to dismantle. This is extremely evident in the use of the diversity card game Michael has the employees play. While Michael's intentions may have been positive, it is obvious that this was not an effective approach when discussing diversity in the workplace. Through the use of satire, Diversity Day brings issues of inequality and themes of social justice to the forefront of the viewer's mind. That is, if the encoding and decoding processes align closely enough with one another. In the sense, The Office has a potential to make a positive impact on society through its platform in mainstream media.
Thanks for watching!